Have you ever done something that felt good healthy, even only to realize later it might have been quietly tearing your body apart? If you're over 60 and still doing certain popular workouts, you might be unknowingly fast-tracking yourself straight toward a knee replacement. Yes, seriously. This isn't just about soreness or stiffness. We're talking long-term joint damage that could rob you of your mobility independence and quality of life. Today, we're breaking down the most dangerous exercises for aging knees, the ones that look innocent, but are silently destroying your joints. Stick with me, because knowing this could save your knees and your future. Deep squats, the silent fast track to knee surgery. Deep squats have long been seen as the gold standard for lower body strength. They're in nearly every fitness guide, gym routine, and workout video. But here's the truth. No one tells you deep squats are like a ticking time bomb for aging knees. When you're in your 20s or 30s, your knees are more forgiving. The cartilage is thick, your ligaments are flexible, and your joints can handle the pressure. But fast forward a few decades, that cushion between your bones is thinner, less elastic, and far more vulnerable. And every time you sink into a deep squat, you're pushing those already compromised joints past their limit. The knee bends past its natural comfort zone. The cartilage gets compressed, the ligaments stretched. You might feel fine in the moment, just a slight ache afterward, maybe a little stiffness when getting up from a chair. But behind the scenes, damage is accumulating. What starts as a tiny crack in your cartilage can turn into full-on erosion. Inflammation builds. That dull ache becomes a sharp pain. Then one day pop a jolt, and you suddenly can't stand without agony. You went in thinking you were just doing a basic leg workout. You walk out one step closer to surgery. And here's the heartbreaking part. Cartilage doesn't heal like a muscle. Once it's gone, it's gone. Your body's ability to repair joint tissue diminishes with age. That's why chronic inflammation, arthritis, and reduced mobility follow these injuries like a shadow. Some people still push through believing pain is just part of aging, but pain is never just pain. It's your body's way of saying, stop, before it's too late. Ignoring it leads to more than discomfort, it leads to dependence. Doctor visits, injections, surgeries, and even after recovery, your knees might never feel the same again. So ask yourself, is one more set of squats really worth risking your independence? Running on hard surfaces. The silent killer of your joints. Running. It's iconic, right? A symbol of vitality, discipline, and staying fit. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Running on hard surfaces is one of the worst things you can do for your knees as you age. Let's break it down. Every time your foot hits concrete or asphalt, a shockwave travels up your leg, and it doesn't stop at your foot. That force slams directly into your knees, up to 5 times your body weight. It's like slamming your car's brakes over and over at full speed. When you were younger, your joints had built-in shock absorbers, thick cartilage, and elastic ligaments. But aging changes the landscape. That shock absorption fades. What was once cushioned impact is now bone-on-bone stress. You might think it's just a little soreness after a run, maybe some morning stiffness, maybe a mild ache on the stairs. But these are not just signs of aging, they're red flags. Early warnings that your knees are under siege. And here's where it gets dangerous. People often push through mistaking warning signs for normal aging. But the more you run on hard surfaces, the faster your cartilage disappears. And once it's gone, there's no bringing it back. What follows is a painful grinding sensation, chronic inflammation, swelling, bone rubbing against bone. Some runners don't notice the damage until one day their knee gives out. A sharp snap, a loud pop. And the next thing they know, they're on the ground, unable to stand. This is how torn menisci, damaged ligaments, and advanced osteoarthritis begin. Not with a bang, but with repeated steps on unforgiving ground. Recovery isn't a matter of just resting for a few days anymore. It becomes months of physical therapy, cortisone injections, and sometimes invasive surgery. Even then, mobility is often never fully restored. And the cruel irony: the activity meant to preserve your health can rob you of your freedom. You can't enjoy a walk with your grandchildren. You struggle to get out of chairs. A few stairs become a mountain. So if you're over 60 and still running on pavement, ask yourself, is this helping or hurting? The answer might surprise you. High-impact jumping exercises, the invisible destroyer of knees jumping jacks, burpees, box jumps, plyometrics. These high-impact exercises are often promoted as great for building strength and agility, and they are for younger bodies. But for seniors, these movements can be a disaster in disguise. Think about what jumping actually involves. You're propelling your entire body weight off the ground and then crashing back down with force. That landing sends a brutal jolt through your ankles, up your shins, and directly into your knees. Your body is absorbing a shock far beyond what aging joints are designed to handle. When you're 25, your knees bounce back. Your tendons are springy, your cartilage is thick, your ligaments are strong. But past 60, everything changes. The cushioning wears thin, the elasticity is gone, recovery slows to a crawl, and the damage is often invisible at first. A minor tweak, a strange pinch, a little soreness the next day. But each jump is like a hammer on a fragile structure. Eventually cracks form, ligaments stretch too far, the meniscus begins to tear. And then it happens, one awkward landing, one sharp twist, and you're facing serious injury. And the worst part, these injuries don't just sideline you, they change how you live. Stairs become terrifying. Getting out of a car feels like a chore, and suddenly the freedom you once had is gone. Yet so many seniors keep doing these workouts because they want to stay active. But activity should never equal pain. You can stay fit without destroying your knees. We'll talk about safer, joint-friendly alternatives later in this series. But for now, know this: every high-impact jump you do is a gamble, and the cost might be far higher than you expect. And here's the real kicker: we're only halfway through the list. If you think these 3 exercises are dangerous, just wait until you hear about the next ones. Some are hiding in plain sight, disguised as gentle or low impact, but in reality, they're just as destructive. If you're serious about protecting your knees, avoiding surgery, and staying independent well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, don't miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a loved one who might be unknowingly harming their joints. Your knees will thank you. It all begins with a small twinge, one that seems harmless at first. In the previous section, we uncovered how seemingly simple exercises like lunges and heavy leg presses could quietly wreak havoc on aging knees. Now let's take a deeper look into what really happens when the damage begins. Because the truth is, most seniors don't even realize their knee pain started from these everyday movements. It creeps in gradually, so subtly that it's easy to ignore until it's too late. You finish a workout and feel a bit of discomfort, maybe a tight sensation or a sharp pinch when you land just a little too hard on the ground. You brush it off. It'll go away, you tell yourself. Just soreness. But this isn't just ordinary post-exercise soreness. That pain is a messenger, a quiet, persistent whisper from your body trying to warn you. Each time your foot hits the ground with force, whether it's from a jump, a lunge, or stepping down with weight, the knee absorbs the impact. In your youth, your cartilage was like a thick cushion soaking up these forces like a shock absorber. But now that cushion is thinner, fragile, vulnerable. The force doesn't just bounce back anymore, it sinks in, leaving behind micro tears in the cartilage. Tiny injuries that most people don't feel immediately, but they build up. And here's the harsh reality: these micro tears don't heal the way they used to. Not anymore. Instead of repairing themselves, they slowly accumulate. They wear away the precious cartilage that keeps your bones from grinding together. The result: a vicious cycle of chronic inflammation, stiffness, and pain that lingers long after the activity ends. At some point, perhaps weeks or even months later, it happens. One wrong movement, one awkward landing, one slight misstep, and suddenly a sharp, searing pain shoots through your knee like lightning. You can't stand. You can't move. Something inside has shifted, and it doesn't feel right. It's terrifying. This is how major injuries occur. This is how seniors end up with torn ligaments, damaged meniscus, or even a total knee blowout. Injuries like ACL tears or patella ruptures that years ago you might have bounced back from. But now the recovery is grueling. It's long. It's incomplete. Months of physical therapy may follow, appointments, exercises, medications. And despite your best efforts, your knee may never return to its former strength or stability. It might always feel just a little weaker, a little less trustworthy. Many seniors find themselves afraid to walk too far, hesitant to try stairs, and anxious about every step they take. And let's be honest, this doesn't just affect your fitness, it affects your life. Getting out of a chair becomes a calculated effort. Going down steps feels like descending a mountain. Walking across a parking lot feels like running a marathon. The little freedoms you once took for granted now feel out of reach. And the most tragic part: many of these life-altering injuries could have been avoided. It's not just the exercises themselves, it's how often we do them, how heavily we load our bodies, and how unaware we are of the warning signs. Far too often, seniors either push through the pain, thinking it's a normal part of aging, or they stop exercising altogether, afraid of making things worse. But in both cases, the result is the same: a loss of mobility, a decline in independence, and a diminished quality of life. Yet this isn't where the danger ends. There's another seemingly innocent exercise, one that many seniors still do regularly, that's causing just as much harm. It's not as flashy as a jump. It's not as intense as a leg press. But it's deceptively dangerous because it's so common, so integrated into daily routines that few people question it at all. The leg press machine with heavy weights, what we call the silent cartilage killer. At first glance, the leg press seems like a safe bet, right? You're seated, your back is supported, it looks smooth, controlled, all you have to do is push. But here's the problem: that very design, the stability, the support, gives you a false sense of safety. What's really happening inside your knees as you press those heavy plates is far more alarming. The motion forces your knees into a deeply flexed position, then demands they push against a massive amount of resistance. And when you're over 60, that resistance doesn't distribute evenly anymore. The stress piles directly onto your knee joints, onto cartilage that has already been thinned out over decades. It's like pressing concrete against tissue paper. At first, it feels fine. Maybe just a bit of tightness afterward, maybe a little ache. You dismiss it, thinking it's just sore muscles. But behind the scenes, something more sinister is happening. Every press is compacting the cartilage, squeezing out the fluids that lubricate and protect your joints, wearing down the soft tissue that prevents bone-on-bone friction. You don't feel the grind immediately, but it's there, and it builds with every set, every rep, every workout. Then comes the day it all goes wrong. A loud pop, a tearing sensation deep in the knee. The weights come crashing down and your leg won't move. You've just suffered a major knee injury, a torn meniscus, a ruptured ligament, maybe even a patellar fracture. These aren't minor sprains. These are injuries that can take 6 months or more to heal, if they ever fully heal at all. And the recovery, it's brutal. Surgery, physical therapy, time off your feet, fear of re-injury, and the constant worry: will I ever walk the same again? But worst of all, these injuries steal your independence. Climbing stairs becomes impossible. Getting into your car feels like an ordeal. Walking the dog, playing with your grandkids, even going to the grocery store, everything is harder. Everything is slower. Everything hurts. And just when you think you've identified the worst culprits, lunges, jumps, leg presses, there's still one more. One more movement that seems completely harmless, even essential, but may be the final straw that breaks your knees down completely. So what is it? Stay with us. Because what comes next may be the most surprising and the most important revelation yet. It's not just about which exercises you do, but how you move through daily life, and how the tiniest missteps today can become tomorrow's biggest regrets. What's most alarming is that many seniors don't even realize their knee pain started with lunges. It creeps in slowly. The damage builds so gradually that it's easy to ignore until one day the pain becomes too intense to brush off. And by then, the joint is already compromised. Some try to push through the discomfort, telling themselves that strengthening their legs will make it better. Others stop exercising altogether, paralyzed by the fear that even the slightest movement could make things worse. But in the end, whether they choose to push through or sit still, the outcome often looks the same: loss of mobility, loss of independence, and a diminished quality of life. But here's something that most people don't consider: lunges aren't the only everyday movement silently attacking your knees. In fact, there are common habits, routine movements that feel completely natural, that could be slowly dismantling your joint health one step at a time. And one of the most underestimated culprits: climbing stairs with heavy loads. Stair climbing with excessive load, the hidden threat to aging knees. Stair climbing has long been viewed as a sign of functional independence. We go up and down stairs countless times a week, carrying groceries, lifting baskets of laundry, or holding grandkids in our arms without giving it a second thought. But for aging knees, this seemingly harmless movement can become a dangerous strain, especially when extra weight is involved. Every single step up requires your knee joint to support more than double your body weight. Add a heavy bag in your hand or a backpack on your shoulders, and that stress multiplies. Your knees are suddenly absorbing a load they were never designed to handle in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Over time, this stress begins to erode the cartilage, the soft layer that cushions the joint, causing stiffness, inflammation, and pain that lingers longer each time. At first, the signs are subtle. You might feel a mild soreness after carrying groceries up the stairs, or a little tightness in your knees after descending. Easy to overlook, right? But these aches are messages, early warnings. Ignore them, and the pressure continues to build. With every ascent and descent, your knee ligaments stretch and strain. Micro tears form in the tendons. These aren't injuries that show up all at once. They accumulate, slowly, quietly, until one day your knees no longer bounce back. Recovery gets harder, pain becomes constant, and every step on the staircase feels like a battle against your own body. Then comes the tipping point. Maybe it's a slight misstep, maybe it's just one flight of stairs too many. Suddenly, a sharp pain slices through your knee. You reach for the railing, trying to steady yourself. That's when it hits you: your knee is giving out. You're not in control anymore. This is how meniscus tears happen, how ligament strains evolve into something far worse, how a simple task becomes a source of fear, and it doesn't stop there. Believe it or not, descending stairs is even more damaging than going up. The downward motion forces your knees to absorb far more shock than they were ever meant to handle, especially at an advanced age. The joint has to stabilize itself while resisting gravity. That creates enormous internal tension, increasing the risk of failure in a split second. Many seniors start avoiding stairs entirely. They fear the burning pain, the instability, the possibility of falling. But avoiding stairs is not just a physical limitation, it's emotional. It feels like giving up a part of your life, like losing the freedom to move around your own home. Some seniors try to fight through it. If I stay active, it'll get better, they say. But that approach can backfire. Ignoring the warning signs only paves the way for long-term joint deterioration and a future filled with medical visits, assisted walking devices, and perhaps even surgery. By now, you've heard the truth. Exercises you once trusted, movements that seemed healthy, might be guiding you down a painful path. But here's the good news: you can change direction. What to do? Instead, protecting your knees without sacrificing strength. Let's be clear, avoiding high-risk exercises doesn't mean surrendering your strength or fitness. It simply means training smarter, not harder. Preserving knee health while staying active requires a shift in mindset. Your knees have carried you through a lifetime of walking, climbing, and movement. Now it's your turn to protect them. Every choice you make today affects your mobility tomorrow. Low impact doesn't mean ineffective. In fact, it can be life-changing. Movements like swimming, cycling, or elliptical training build cardiovascular strength without punishing your joints. Strength training with lighter weights and higher reps develops muscles, safely reducing stress on your knees. Even walking on soft surfaces like grass or a rubber track can dramatically reduce impact forces. Flexibility and balance are essential too. Tight muscles tug on the knees, increasing stress and limiting your range of motion. Regular gentle stretching, yoga, and Tai Chi can improve mobility, loosen stiff joints, and restore fluidity to your movement. Balance exercises like standing on one leg or using a stability cushion help stabilize the knee and prevent falls, which are one of the leading causes of serious injuries in older adults. But maybe the most important strategy of all is this: listen to your body. Pain is not your friend. It's not something you should ignore. It's your body's way of telling you, hey, something's not right. The old no pain, no gain mindset. That's outdated and dangerous, especially as we age. If you feel sharp pains, swelling, or lingering discomfort after a workout, it's time to stop and reassess. The ultimate goal isn't to just stay active, it's to stay active in a way that allows you to keep your freedom, to get out of a chair without groaning, to walk without bracing for pain, to climb stairs with confidence, and to keep living the moments that truly matter. Your knees are the pillars beneath you. Treat them with care today, and they'll carry you where you want to go tomorrow.